Hey guys, welcome back to Margo Watches Movies. My name's Jake Margo, and today I want to be talking about a show that has ended in the last 1 to 2 weeks called Your Friends and Neighbors on Apple TV Plus. This is a show starring Jon Hamm, Amanda Peet, Olivia Munn, and some other worthy actors who had worthy performances. This show to me was a little bit surprising. I was not expecting to enjoy it as much as I did. I will say though, I think I definitely enjoyed the journey much more than I enjoyed the arrival at the destination. The conclusion of this show was a mixed bag for me. I'll get into that a little later. I want to start off with everything I liked about it. Namely, let's get right to the obvious one, Mr. Jon Hamm, who coming back to a television show like this as the lead, where he really gets to sink his teeth into a character. This is very much Don Draper in a sense in the modern era. Basically, the elevator pitch of the show, if you haven't seen it, Jon Hamm is a fancy pants venture capitalist, hedge fund manager. He has the perfect wife and kids, and he is in a super loaded house. He's living in the upper suburbs of New York. He is in an elite and affluent community, and all that crumbles away. He loses his job for reasons. He loses his wife to another man. His kids barely want to speak to him. And as he feels himself on the ropes and knowing that the community he's in and the lifestyle that he has been living, the finances and the expectations of what he is supposed to provide, he turns to a life of petty crime, breaking and entering, with the title of the show, into his friends and neighbors' homes, stealing X, Y, or Z, and trying to make a living that way as he figures out what he wants to do with his life. And to me, the thing I enjoyed the most about this show had nothing to do with the crime angle per se. It felt to me like something that was needed to sell to the bigwigs and executives of Apple to get the show greenlit. I think this show works best when it was a character study and a study of this affluent community and the politics and the lust and the intermarriage relationships that are occurring, the lies, um, uh, the adultery, all of these kind of webs that hide behind the shadows of these picture perfect communities like the one he lives in. And that's really where most of my enjoyment came from. And they do a really, really good job of fleshing out the characters. And it's not just a Jon Hamm centric show. I mean, he is very much the star. He's on screen quite a bit. But, you have like his finance manager, Barney, Nick, who is someone that is the man that basically stole his wife. And this is all explained in the first 5 minutes of the show, so I'm not really spoiling anything. These are all characters given time to flesh out. Jon Hamm's sister, his wife, or his ex-wife, played by Amanda Peet. And it was really good to see her back on the screen. She was like someone I kind of had a crush on in my childhood days, like watching, the whole 9 yards and things like that. And this is some career best acting from Amanda Peet. She's really come a long way, and I think she's fantastic in this show. Um, and then Olivia Munn has a pretty integral role in the show as well. She's from The Newsroom. She dated Aaron Rodgers back in the day, but all in all, I think the strengths of this show lie in the characters and the way that they lift up the curtain and give you an inside peek into kind of what life is like in one of these affluent communities, the artificialness of it and the keeping up with the Joneses aspect. Everybody is faking it until they make it. Nobody is as happy as they seem. Nobody is as rich as they portray. And there's a lot of interesting dynamics that occur from that. So I think that alone, to me, makes the show worth watching. I found a lot of the characters relatable in a sense, even though they're so far above my economic status, I shouldn't. But I just think the characters are well fleshed, and there's a lot of good drama and some comedy there to be had. I'm not a big fan of narration, but Jon Hamm's, I wouldn't call it frequent, but when it does happen, it's well utilized, and he's got a good narrator voice, so it's nothing that I found to be annoying. Uh, I do think, ironically, like the thing that probably got this show greenlit, the crime angle, is probably what ends up being the weakness of this show, what holds it back from being truly great. And they really write themselves into a corner towards the end of the season, at least in my opinion. And I'll get into a little bit of spoilers here. So, spoiler warning, this is your warning. These are spoilers. And I'm not even going to be like super detailed spoilers, but I do want to get into a couple plot points. So, regarding the thieving, it starts out fine. It does. For like 5, 6, 7 episodes, even, there is a good balance between the family life and the breaking and entering and the crime stuff. But it comes to a head in the last few episodes, 7, 8, 9, really. And it really, you can tell the writers found themselves in a dead end in a sense, because there's so many plot points that really don't make any sense at all to me, especially regarding like the conclusion of the show in general. How he kind of gets out of it really just made no sense if you think about it for more than like 2 seconds. There's a note found that exonerates him from, he's like on trial, or facing trial. He's facing 25 to life murder charges, and it seems pretty bleak for him. DNA, crime scene, he goes to a house where there's a dead body that he's trying to break into, slips in the dude's blood, and we know he didn't kill him, but man, is he sure screwed as far as the details go and what a jury would think. And this one little note that he finds, ironically, through breaking and entering, it just exonerates him completely. Everything's fine and dandy, and it really made no sense to me. Also, the very, very, very like last 2 minutes of the show and the choice that he makes also was pretty idiotic. It actually like took the rating I would have given this show down a full point. I think he basically gets his old job back where he's fired from, and would have had a boatload of money. And I get what they're going for, but like he instead of getting on this plane to go close a deal and win his boss's favor back and get this huge deal that he negotiates like 5 minutes earlier in the episode, he decides to go rob his boss, which is cool in concept, but I think a better way to end this season would have been him taking the job and instilling the partner he has throughout the show to go rob his boss, and kind of be balancing his newfound kind of thrill rush of breaking and entering while being a hedge fund manager. I think that would have made for a much more interesting season 2. So we'll see where they go if it gets another season. They kind of definitely leave it open, but if it were to end there, then it's a sufficient enough ending. I just think there was a lot of stupid plot holes and writing dead ends that they very conveniently got themselves out of. But all in all, despite that harsh criticism, I still very much enjoyed the show. Week to week, it was exciting to watch. I was anticipating getting to watch it, and those first like 6 episodes are truly really good. So all in all, I think I would give Your Friends and Neighbors 7 out of 10. It's worth a watch. It is every episode available on Apple TV Plus. If you guys watched it, let me know what you think in the comments below. Give me a like, give me a subscribe. And if you haven't watched it, and I hope you didn't just sit through my spoilers and my spoiler warnings, but give it a shot, see what you think of it. And that's all for today. This is Margo Watches Movies. My name's Jake Margo. Thanks for tuning in, guys.